Hey James, my name is Nate Hibbert. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video and respond to our email. I'm going to go through today and take a look at your business. I took about the last hour to kind of do an audit on my own, and then I'm going to show you the report card that I have for you here. The purpose of this video is two things. One, I want to point out some low-hanging fruit, things that you can improve on your own right inside of your Google business profile to help you rank higher on Google. And the second thing is to show you your competition or who's also ranking above you on Google so that you know how much you need to do to improve that. The theory behind this and why I think knowing who your competition is so important is because while it's fantastic to do everything perfect and put all the effort into this account as possible, in reality, I know that you're a business owner, that you're busy, you have other things to do. And so knowing who your competition is and how much of they're doing allows you to see at what level do you need to compete. If you were the only guy in your area doing what you're doing, then just having your Google business profile live and up there would be enough, because then all of the customers in your area would only be able to find you. But because there is competition in your area, you're not the only one in your service area. We want to do things that can push us towards really the top 3 on Google Maps, because what that's going to allow us to do is to get about 80% of the traffic. 80% of the traffic that goes to Google and looks for whatever your business is, in this instance for tree service, they're only looking at the top 3, and Google's really only pushing the top 3. So that's why it's very important to kind of crack that. And the more trust that we can build with Google, the higher you'll be ranked, not only in your exact area, but that also then starts to grow for other areas. And depending on how big your service area is or how big you want it to be, it's always good to just build more trust with Google. So that's kind of the lens that I'm going to use when showing you this information. So let's jump right into the scorecard that I have for you. Make sure, oh boy, got a lot of screens open, so apologize. Stick with me here. Okay. Perfect. Sorry about that. So this is the right screen that I want to be sharing. And this is your scorecard compared to Climbing to the Top LLC, who's a big competitor in your area. Whether this is exactly right, you'll be able to tell me that better if you're willing to jump on a call. I'd love to speak with you, and you can tell me, this is the guy, or this isn't the company that you're in most competition with, or you're losing jobs to. We can definitely run this report again, depending on who your top competitor is. But from my vantage point, and I'll even show you how I found this as your top competitor, is I go to Google Maps, and I draw a line from where your business is located about 50 miles out. And then I keep hitting the search button all the way in. And I think I got into right inside of 20 miles, which is where, about your service area is going to be and who your top competition is. So that's how I was able to identify this person. Again, it's a little bit from the outside looking in. So you, with your business knowledge and working in this area, you'll know better. And if you're interested, I can run this for another competitor, as I've said. So let's just take a look at what my scorecard says for a couple of important things. So we're going to look at your Google business profile. I'm also going to look at your website and how you rank on directories. I'll explain the purpose of looking at these 3 categories as I go. But for your Google business profile, like I said, I think this is a very good place for you to be competing. There's a lot of traffic that's going here, and so being in those top 3 spots is super important. And I've pulled all of this information, both from my own knowledge, from reports that have been done, and directly from Google, who has told us some of this information. So things like you want your ranking to be above a 4.7. If we look at your account, I apologize, that should be checked. So you do want to be ranked above a 4.7, and you are. You have a 5.0. The thing that we're looking at here is that you have only 4 reviews. So you really want to crack 30 reviews. There are milestones that Google has. They don't necessarily make them public. What we've, again, seen this in our own research and others, that once you get above 30, Google trusts you more. And that's, again, the metric that we're going to be looking at the most is just this level of Google trust that you have. They trust you more. They're going to put you not only closer to the top 3, but also in a wider area. So Really what this just means is that do you have a system for gaining these reviews? If you do, fantastic. It doesn't look like it with only 4 reviews, so that's definitely something we can talk about. Like, how do you get more of these reviews, whether you're using a CRM, and we can bake it into the CRM a couple of places where you're asking for these reviews. But this is really important for the growth of your business. This is one of the heavily weighted metrics that Google is looking at. So the review score and the amount of reviews are like a very large portion of how do they see your business and how much do they trust your business. So it's a great thing to focus on and ask for more reviews. It can be a little bit annoying, but again, if you have the system in place to do so, then you can usually see this grow. Our average that I like to get with the customers that I'm currently working with is about 1 a week. That's what we aim for. So 30 more reviews is something we can work on. 2 reviews this month. You don't have that, so that's unchecked. And then responding to reviews within 48 hours. You don't have those reviews for us to look at. But even if we do look at, sorry, that's the competitions page. We do look at the reviews. It doesn't look like you're responding to them, which is another key metric that Google is looking at. Google likes to see that you're just interacting with your account more. And so several of these metrics that we're going to look at is based on how much you're interacting with the account. So responding to reviews within 48 hours is important. Responding to reviews, period, is also important. You're not doing that. So for reviews, you're getting a D. But I think there's definitely some room, that we can improve those. And it's really just having the systems in place for that, which we're more than happy to help implement and also stay consistent with, which is another thing Google cares about. How much you're interacting with your account and how consistently are you doing that. So there's that. We're also going to take a look at your basic business information. So your business name, you have tree service in there, fantastic, or tree in there, which is great. You're in the right category. So you have, and let me do this so I don't have to click back and forth. Just take a look at this at the same time. You have the right category here. You're in tree service, which is fantastic. You have your phone number, which is fantastic, so you get points for that. You have your website link, which is great. Your social profiles, which we can see through another page, which is here. You have Facebook on here. Let's double check. This is going, this is going to your Facebook. So that's great. You get points for that. The booking link you're not using. You can take a look at your competition. I think they are using. Yeah. Your competition is using a booking link. It's just another area that you have to put a link to your website. So they're using it in not the correct way. They're just linking directly to their homepage. Really, it should be linked to this contact us page. So the same thing for your business. I know you don't have a separate page for your contact us, but sometimes you can make a link that will lead directly here. So that's something to think about. Either way, just even having your website the exact same URL in there again as a booking link is a good thing to do, just to show Google that you're using that booking link. So that's a good thing to do. That's something, again, you can do this in 5 to 10 minutes. If you open up your account, you can look in your basic business information. You'll see booking link, and you can just copy and paste the same exact link in there, and that will give you a small boost to your account. It's not going to be as big as getting more reviews and all that, but it is a small boost, and every little bit helps with building trust with Google. The other thing is that you have your physical address. This is a huge thing. You have it, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but having a physical address just helps so much with ranking. You're not open 24 hours, and I don't see any hours indicated on here. Now, this 24 hours doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go out at any hour of the night and do a quote or do a job. But what this does do is when people are searching for tree services in your area, so if you come back here and we look, we can see a lot of the competition is open 24 hours. And that's simply because if customers are searching for your business outside of when you're open, your listing, if it's not listed as being open for 24 hours, is going to be suppressed because Google doesn't want to show people businesses that are closed. So if you're open from 9 to 5, and that's the hours that you put onto Google, but you have customers that are looking for tree service once they get home, so usually after 5 p.m., your business is going to be pushed farther down the list just because it says that you're not going to be open. I'm doing this at a time where everyone is open, but if I did this after 5, I could show you more clearly. Here's a business here that's closed, and they're really far down the list compared to these guys who are open 24 hours. They're always going to be at the top, and because they don't close, these listings don't have any reason to be pushed down the list. So that's why we like to put open 24 hours and have the hours on here. You put hours, Google trusts you more. So not having hours is also another reason that Google isn't like thinking that you're as active or you're paying as closely attention to this account. So you do want to put hours on there. Putting 24 hours is a fantastic thing to do for those reasons. And then integrated CRM button. This only matters if you have a CRM that has a partnership with Google, but this is another great way to stand out. Again, if we just search your area, it doesn't look like anyone in your area has this. So a really fantastic thing to do. If you do have a CRM that's partnered with Google, we really like Jobber. So if you're using something like that, it gives you a giant button here that says, you know, like book now or get a quote or something to that effect. And it just makes you stand out in this list. So if customers are looking in this list, the ones that have like a big button that just says like, we can help you now, you know, that's going to increase the uniqueness of your account, which makes people, you know, double take and you just stand out in a list like this. So a great thing to do, but can be a little bit more time consuming, and there's an expense usually with enlisting a CRM. But if that's something you're interested in, again, love to have that conversation and talk to you about it. For media, we're looking at the pictures that you have here. You don't actually have any pictures in your account, so it just has like the street view thing here. So that's definitely something you can add. If you're taking pictures of the job, that's fantastic. The two things in these pictures that we really like to see is somebody working and then their face. You know, you can have pictures kind of from far away of someone up in a tree, and that's great. But a picture of someone working and being able to see the human face, like human faces in advertising and any type of social media or pictures that you're putting out, just helps build trust with customers. So there's two things, you know, these accounts can help you do: build trust with Google, so they promote you more, and then build trust with customers, so they actually want to contact you. And a human face that they can see is, you know, it's like almost 100% increase of whether people trust your business or not, whether they can see a human face. So that's something to keep in mind. And I would highly encourage you to add some media to this account, whether it be photos or videos, and just so they can see like the type of work that you're doing and who's doing the work. That's super helpful. This last part is the post. This is more of a technical thing, but you can list all your services as products. You can make weekly updates in your account, and you can have a Q&A section. Again, these are all three things that you can do just to show Google that you're active and that you're paying attention, and that you know, they can trust you with the business because you're you know, an open and active business, which are things that you're looking for. And so these are really just three areas to build more trust with Google. You're currently not doing any of them. Your competition isn't doing a great job with it either, but this is definitely an area that we can help you with. We can create, you know, your services as products. We can create the weekly added updates for you, and we can do a Q&A section for you all right on your Google account. So those are some things to look at. Again, overall, you got a D+ for this, and then your competition got a B. So this is what I was saying at the beginning, where it's not necessary for you to do 100% of these things and have A+ in all of them. But what it is important to take a look at is what your competition is doing and how can you compete with them. So this baseline information, like just, you know, you have social profiles and they don't, which is fantastic. They're using a booking link and you're not. So this is a, you know, 5-minute fix that you can do that. This is another 5-minute fix. So like in 10 minutes total, once you get the account open, you can be, we can even show here, you know, an A+ compared to their A-. So you can really boost your, how Google sees your business in just a couple of minutes. You know, these aren't necessarily super hard things to implement on the list, but they are high impact as far as what Google is looking for. So there's a couple of things for you to consider. Now, the next two sections, I'm going to try and go through a little bit more quickly. Again, I can talk about these things at length, but I don't want to make this video too long. So just when it comes to your website, two huge things that matter for how much Google trusts you, for your SEO, just for how easy it is to find your website, is having more information on there, more information in the form of service pages. So what are all the services that you do, and giving 1,500 words or more of information about all of them. That's really good content for Google to know, so that you're more searchable, and for you can basically cast a wider net for how people are searching online. You can potentially, you know, catch some more of that traffic. Same thing for location pages. You want to list all the locations that you work in and any specifics that you know about those locations, like certain neighborhoods that you like to work in, or the trees, the type of trees that are in that location. That's all great content to be putting up there, again, so that Google has more information about you and they can drive more traffic your way. Your competition does have service pages, but they don't have their location pages either. This is actually super important because Google's looking for reasons to trust that this website is the right website, even though you have it linked right here in your Google Business Profile. They still want more ways and more information to verify that this is all the correct information. So adding these two things, I'm not going to lie to you, these are not like quick and easy things to do. It does take a while to like gather this information and figure out how your website's designed and all that, but these are very big impact for your searchability online. And the fact that your biggest competitor is not doing a great job in this section either means that, you know, there's a lot of growth that can happen from doing these two things. For functionality, you get an A+, you have a contact form, and your name, address, and phone number matches. This is another really big thing that Google cares about, which you'll also see in the directory. This NAP, as they call it, or NAP, is very important because, again, they're trying to verify, do all these profiles, is this the same business, you know, match up with what the information they have. And these are the three things that they're looking for as a name, address, and phone number. So you have that on your website. That's fantastic. The last thing is the performance. I use a tool called Page Speed Insight. It's still loading a report. But I loaded this earlier and took a look at it. The reason I like this one is because this is directly from Google. So Google does base some of your ranking off of, you know, how well your website performs. And while your website is mobile responsive, which is better than your competition, it's not fast loading. And that's usually due to large pictures and large media on your website that can slow things down. There's ways to compress that without losing any quality, but these are all things that we can talk about if you're interested in our help in this area. But honestly, this isn't too bad. It's mostly on mobile that you're slowed down. We'd like this to be no lower than a 75. So yeah, that's why it says, you know, large content is the reason, and that's definitely true on the mobile. So there's some information there. Again, actually on the website front, you're doing better than your competition. But I think this, you know, is a little bit skewed. And I think these two areas should really be focused on when it comes to your website. And then the directory. So this is just another area that you can show up, that you can show Google, yes, we're a real business, and this is our correct name, address, and phone number. I looked you up on what I call the big three. So Better Business Bureau, Yelp, and Yellow Pages. These are three that Google in past has called out by name as places that they look for your business. So you being listed on here, again, builds more trust with Google. And the things they're looking for is just, do you have a listing, full stop? And then do you have matching name, address, and phone number for each of these? I was only able to find you on Better Business Bureau, and I wasn't able to verify that you had the same name, address, and phone number. So you don't have a check there. And that's the same exact thing for your competition. They're on the Better Business Bureau, but they don't have the same name, address, and phone number. So they're not actually, you know, that's a kind of a negative in Google's eyes. They want you to have the same information. So lots of room to grow here. There's about 40 other directories that I can help you get listed on. And, you know, these are all, as this tool is indicating, missed opportunities and how much traffic is associated with them. So you know, it's kind of double dipping. There are people who use all these directories and look at these when they're looking for, you know, tree service or any kind of local service. But also all these feed right back into Google and tell Google, like, hey, we're listed in all these. We have the same name, address, and phone number. And, you know, that's how you can kind of grow this and build more trust with Google overall. So there's a quick overview of that information. Hopefully that's helpful. Again, a couple of things in there that you can go and change kind of immediately and start to see some little improvement. But the biggest thing would really be putting in some type of review system for the customers that you are going out and serving, for them to leave a review, so that not only will you get some of that social proof of the fact that you can be a trusted business, but also Google really likes that, and they want you to get above that 30 review milestone that they have. So if you're interested in talking with me, there will be a link in this email as well. But yeah, you can email me back. You can set up a time directly on my calendar. Look forward to talking with you, and yeah, hopefully that's soon. All right, thanks so much. Bye.